afternoon. I'm Adeola Adekunle with Global News. In the news, ASU gets leave to appeal court verdicts. Honor killings in Sudan raise fresh concerns. U.S. relaxes immigration rules for Mexicans.
This is the news.
The Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has granted leave to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to appeal the decision of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria delivered on the 21st of September. In a ruling delivered by Justice Aman Baraka on October the 7th and made public today, the court granted ASU 7 days to file its notice of appeal before the National Industrial Court on the condition that the order of the lower court is obeyed immediately. On the 28th of September, ASU had applied to the court to grant it leave to appeal against the interlocutory order of Justice Polycarp Aman of the National Industrial Court. ASU also asked for an order staying execution of the decision of the National Industrial Court pending the hearing and determination of its appeal. Beyond Nigeria now, hundreds of Tunisians clashed with police during a protest to demand a rescue mission for relatives lost at sea during a failed migration attempt. The incident in the southeastern Tunisian city came more than 2 weeks after a boat carrying Tunisian migrants went missing off the coast during an attempt to reach Italy. The protesters blocked the main street in the coastal town of Gazis, shouting, "The people want our lost children." The Tunisian Red Crescent said seamen have found 8 bodies, which are now awaiting DNA analysis. Only 3 bodies have been recovered and more than 10 people still missing. The Tunisian Human Rights League said authorities had not devoted the necessary resources to search and rescue operations in a timely way and called for an inquiry into the barriers. Now, Uganda's President Yoweri Museveni says the traditional healers must stop treating people during the ongoing Ebola outbreak that has killed 19 people in the country. In a televised address to the nation, he told traditional healers and herbalists not to treat people suspected to be infected with the viral hemorrhagic disease. The president also directed the security officials to arrest people suspected of having contracted the virus if they refuse to go into isolation. The announcement follows the death of a 45-year-old man who was listed by health teams as having been exposed to the Ebola virus. Authorities say the man died in a hospital in the capital, Kampala, after seeking treatment from a traditional healer elsewhere before turning up at Kampala. Officials in Sudan and campaigners have raised concerns about a rise in so-called honor killings. The Director General of the government's Combating Violence Against Women Unit, Sulaiman Ishaq Al-Khalifa, says fathers involved in the killings get light sentences because they are considered to be the breadwinners of their families. She also said that honor killings were not embedded within Sudan society, but there was suspicion that religious extremism was behind the recent surge. So far this year, at least 11 young women have been killed by family members, more than double last year's total, though the real number is thought to be much higher. The government's efforts to deal with the issue are being hampered by the ongoing instability in the country, particularly since the military coup last year. Honor killing involves the murder by male family members of a woman or girl believed to have brought dishonor to the family. You're on to Global News from Adaba 88.9 FM Akure, transmitting from Ilaramokin. After the break, U.S. relaxes immigration rules for Mexicans. Join us in the second part of the bulletin.
The news on Adaba 88.9 FM.
Glad to have you back for news, updating live streaming. Visit our website www.adaba889.fm or download Adaba FM app on Google Play Store. You can be part of us on our social media platforms www.facebook.com/AdabFM88.9 on Facebook, at Adaba89FM on Instagram and Twitter, and Adaba FM TV on YouTube. You can also provide us information via email newsroom@adaba889.fm. And now to the rest of the bulletin. US and Mexico have agreed to a plan that allows some Venezuelan migrants to enter the US. It is hoped that the deal will ease pressure at the US-Mexico border, where a steady flow of Venezuelans continue to arrive as they flee the crisis-hit nation. The US and Mexican governments have said the policy is designed to discourage people from making the perilous trek across South America and Mexico, which they have been doing in record numbers over the past year as Venezuela's economic and political situation worsen. Under the new deal, which is effective immediately, the 24,000 eligible Venezuelan migrants, a tiny fraction of those who have fled, will be allowed to access the U.S. by air and stay for up to 2 years. 6 million people have left Venezuela in the past 5 years. The Biden administration is undoubtedly hoping the idea of helping Venezuelans who are fleeing poverty, political turmoil and violence will play well politically, especially if it is combined with also expelling thousands who crossed the southern border illegally. Now, the United Nations General Assembly has voted overwhelmingly to condemn Russia's attempts to annex 4 regions of Ukraine. The resolution was supported by 143 countries, while 35 states, including China and India, abstained. Belarus, North Korea, Syria, and Nicaragua and Russia rejected the vote. It was the highest number of votes against Russia since the invasion. Last week, President Vladimir Putin had signed documents to make the eastern Ukrainian regions of Luhansk, Donetsk, Zaporizhzhia, and Kherson part of Russia. Meanwhile, Ukraine's NATO-led allies have announced deliveries of advanced air defense weapons to Kiev after a spate of Russian missile strikes. The weaponry promised by the UK, Canada, France, and the Netherlands include missiles and radars. Earlier, the US made a similar pledge with one high-tech system from Germany already in Ukraine. The pledges come as Ukraine's allies from 50 countries meet at NATO headquarters in Brussels. Officials say hours after Kyiv held the summit, Russian shelling hit the southern city of Mykolaiv on Thursday morning. And this week, Ukraine saw some of its heaviest Russian bombardment in months when more than 100 missiles were launched, hitting energy infrastructure and other non-military targets, including a children's playground. At least 19 people were killed on the first day of the strikes, which included 18 central Kiev. In the entertainment industry, from our Big Brother Naija season 3 housemate Patrick Fakoya, popularly known as Rico Suave, is dead. colleagues who were housemates with him confirmed his death on various social media platforms. Today, report says the former BBN star was involved in an auto crash, after which he slipped into a coma before his eventual death this morning. And now, to end global news, a recap of our top stories. We told you that the Court of Appeal sitting in Abuja has granted leave to the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASU, to appeal the decision of the National Industrial Court of Nigeria, delivered on the 21st of September. Officials in Sudan and campaigners have raised concerns about a rise in so-called honor killings. US and Mexico have agreed to a plan that allows some Venezuelan migrants to enter the US. And that's Global News. It was edited by Olabisi Olaniyi Oluwasegun. I'm Adeola Adekunle. Many thanks for listening. Good afternoon.